There are certain thought process which question why to coach. The leaders are very seasoned persons. They have grown through the levels, they have spent their time, they have worked hard, they have learned their business very well, and they are expert in their field. And therefore, the coaching is something that may not be required for them. Second question that comes is that a particular person grows up the ladder at a very advanced age, very matured and advanced age. At that stage, is it appropriate to ask him to go to school, learn more, and then go for coaching? So, therefore, leadership coaching is something I think that can be done away with. Some people have certain thought in this direction. There are other thought as well. In order to understand the other thought, let us look at what is the basic role of leaders. The basic role of leaders is to take their organization forward and forward at a fast rate. Everybody is dependent on them. The promoters are dependent on them. Promoters means the owners are dependent on them. The stakeholders are dependent on them. The investors are dependent on them. Internal and external stakeholders all are dependent on them. The employees are dependent on them. Their families are dependent on them. The organization and its growth are completely dependent on them. The economy is dependent on them. Country is dependent on them. So therefore, a leader's role is a very, very critical in nature. No risk can be taken with regard to their proficiency. As a part of risk mitigation plan for the leadership positions, investment in their development is a must. There is no choice about it. And that explains the need for coaching leaders. We know the leaders have become leaders because of certain skills and qualities they bring with them. This is the combination of various skills they bring with them. It could be the managerial skills, it is their technical skills, it is interpersonal skills. Combination of all these skills have brought them to the level where they are now today. Whenever they have grown, they have gone to the new position, they have faced the new environment, analyzed the environment, and met the demands of that environment with the repertoire of the skills that they brought along with them. But in everybody's life, a stage comes when whatever they bring with them it does not work. Particularly in today's situation, where things are absolutely unpredictable, uncertain, and so volatility is very much in a sense to say that we are in a VUCA world. So it is very difficult to address the current demand with the skills and the repertoire of knowledge that we have brought in our case. That requires for us to supplement our knowledge, to supplement our skill, to supplement our ability by way of getting some external help and getting additional input in order to make us effective. Certain areas where the coaching is important for leaders. What are these areas? For example, whenever there is a change in role, change in the demand on the leaders about their abilities, whenever there is a change in culture, they go to one culture to the another culture. Whenever there is any change, there the new learnings are required, and the old skill that is brought about does not answer the demands of the new requirements. For example, a person when he has been promoted or he has moved from executive position to managerial position, it's a huge gap. The demand on both these positions are quite different. So therefore, it is required to be supplemented. Their ability needs to be supplemented with additional input. Whenever they move from managing some doers to managing managers, that requires additional capability. Whenever they move from staff role to line role and the vice versa, they need this skill. Whenever they move from corporate role to the manufacturing locations role and the vice versa, they need supplement. Whenever in an organization a new CEO comes and new CEO brings in a lot of new initiatives and a new culture is getting created, to meet the demands of that new culture, the leaders need additional input. Whenever There is a strategic intervention in the organization, like expansion, tremendous expansion, massive growth by way of mergers, acquisitions, and greenfield projects. There, it is not possible to address the demands of the new requirement with the existing skill that the leaders bring along with them. There, they need coaching interventions. Whenever it requires to go for manpower reduction, downsizing, it's a common thing in today's context, that requires additional skill, new skills, and therefore new input is required. Whenever people move from national positions to an international positions, unicultural environment to multicultural, multiracial environment, it requires a lot of new knowledge, skill, environment, experience, everything is required. So therefore, the coaching intervention is a must. There have been cases where the leaders have not taken any help from any external sources. They just went there, learned it by trial and error method, and ultimately have been able to perform their role to the extent it was required. But it was by trial and error method. It takes a lot of time. In today's context, neither the organization nor the investors, nor the customers, nor the employee, no one has got that much of time to be allowed to a new leaders to really allow them to learn by way of trial and error, develop their ability, and then perform. So therefore, coaching is something which is an inescapable part of leadership development, and it's a must. Through coaching, another advantage one can think of. Once a particular leader has gone through a structured coaching process, he now understands the various stages that one goes through. In this journey, one goes through. He has gone from the stage where he thought that his development intervention is not necessary. So from there, he has started thinking that yes, developmental intervention is necessary, from pre-contemplation to contemplation stage. Then he starts preparing for development, starts preparing for developmental journey. Then he takes action and he consolidates his position through this particular process. So pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, and consolidation of their position. Through this particular process, a leader understands how he has gone through the coaching process. Now he knows, he understands how his behavior changes from one stage to the another stage, how his changed behavior impacts the environment, how his changed behavior impacts the outcome of the organization in way, of which they are in charge of. So therefore, this gives an opportunity for them to lifelong to coach themselves by way of self-coaching. There's an extra ammunition they get in their armory. From this point of view, coaching is very important. Coaching is actually forward-looking. It generates hope, aspiration for everybody, and it creates tremendous possibilities. Hence, coaching and leadership coaching is something which is must for any organization. Thank you.